Teresa's dead. Teresa has 2 little girls that deserve to have answers and justice.
I like Teresa. I mean, she was helping me, so
yeah, well,
I have no reason to.
This is 47-year-old Curtis Wayne Wright, the man who, with his co-defendant, bludgeoned to death mother of 2.
I have you on tape. I have you with Jimmy.
See that you think that that's me on that video, but that's not me. I was in Missouri.
You were in Florida. Mark asked you to come down and kill her because she was going to take the kids away from him.
I'm not supposed to talk to you anymore. I have an attorney, and
On June 27, 2015, Wright rented a car and picked up Rogers, a man he had met years earlier in a Missouri jail, and the two drove 1,100 miles to Bonita Springs. Wright and Teresa's husband, Mark Sievers, were childhood best friends. Mark confided that his marriage was crumbling, and he feared losing his daughters in a custody battle. He told Wright the only option was for Teresa to die. Cell tower records and surveillance footage from a Walmart placed both men near the Sievers home. The two entered the house, disabled the alarm, and waited for hours until Teresa returned alone from a family trip. When she walked into her kitchen, Wright struck her first with a hammer before Rogers joined in, hitting her 17 times. In the end of this interrogation, you will find out which sentence he got.
Jimmy had a VOP warrant yesterday, or 2 days ago. I'm losing my mind. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I can't remember right now. I think it's Thursday right now, the 27th.
yeah, I know
Okay.
what a VOP is.
I'm sorry. Violation of probation.
Okay.
I thought you might. Have you ever been on probation before?
Yeah.
But you never violated.
Right.
Violation of probation, first federal probation, and he's violated. He's in Florida with you during that weekend. You said you were sick in bed.
No.
I'm gonna tell you what I know, and then you can tell me. Okay. The video of you working in the garage on your friend's car, Christian, or whatever you want to call him, friend. You've known him forever, so I call him a friend. He may be a landlord, but he's still your friend.
Yeah, worked on it a lot.
Yeah, and you set up a surveillance system for him.
Mhm.
We reviewed the video. You were not there during when you said. We know you weren't in bed.
I never said that I was in bed the whole
I'm sorry.
time back then.
You said you were sick all weekend,
Right.
at home. So whether that means you walked outside or whatever, I know you weren't there. I have you physically documented with photographs where you went, where you shopped, where you spent time. I know. Listen, you can't beat this. It is what it is. Okay, right now, I want your side of the story. I don't think it's fair for Mark Sievers to not be in jail after he hired you and, well, I don't know if he knew about Jimmy, but after he hired you to help him with this problem, and you brought Jimmy in, and you guys went down, did the deed, verified that Jimmy was there, had pictures of Jimmy there with you guys side by side, with date and time stamp, GPS location. It's done deal. You're in Florida in the weekend. You're right near Teresa Sievers' house. You went to the house. Now, here's the difference. Whether you went in there dressed up with a suit and killed Teresa, or Jimmy did it and you were outside, that's different. Being a lookout versus actually being the one that killed her, that actually physically ended her life, is way different. Because it's reasonable to me to suggest, based on your handicap, your disabilities, your inflammation, that you maybe didn't possess the strength to do it. Keep in mind, I have Jimmy's talking, and Mark, if he has a brain, because he's not getting that money. He's not going to get the money. They know that he's involved in the homicide of his wife. He will not see that money. You guys are never going to see that money because he's not going to see the money. So now is the time to explain how and why to save your own life. Because in Florida, premeditation, if we charge it, because right now you're being charged with second-degree homicide. And second-degree is showing depraved mind is what we call it. Depraved mind. And you're very educated, so I know you know what depraved mind means. That's second degree. First degree shows that it wasn't depraved, or maybe not only was it depraved, it's premeditated. And premeditation is when you plan it out. Obviously this was planned out, but right now you're not charged with that. That may come, that may not. If it does come, it's death penalty eligible. This one alone is punishable by life. So you're facing a PBL. Punishable by life. So, you explaining that Mark asked you to come down and talk to her, or Mark asked you to come down and kill her because she was going to take the kids away from him and that was his world, plus, as a bonus, there was going to be money. But his main goal was keeping his daughters, or however Mark wanted to spin it. Mark's not arrested yet, and unfortunately, all the physical evidence shows you and Jimmy right now. You guys are done. That's a done deal, unfortunately. And Mark's free. And if I was you, even if I knew Mark since 14 years old, and I have, I think, 2 friends left in my life from 14 years old, if they asked me to do a job, and unfortunately I got caught, even though I used cash, and I left my phone at home, and I brought my other friend and used his phone, and blah, 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 But if they didn't go to jail, and I did, and I'm losing the rest of my life because how old are you now?
48.
Okay, 48. Life. 25, 35 years with parole. So add 30 years to your life right now, okay? So 78 years old, coming out, for what's left of your life. Or you may be locked up spending the rest of your life in prison. Or they, like I said, it's a death penalty eligible crime. If they charge first degree. Right now they haven't done that to you yet. Right now it's second degree, depraved mind. And, you know, there's all kinds of explanations. Also, there's the opportunity to say, I'm sorry. I didn't physically do it. I brought Jimmy in. Jimmy actually did it. I feel bad. It just got away from us. We didn't really want to do this, but we did it. We're here, and it makes sense. It made sense ahead of time, but it didn't now. That's what we need to know. Because right now, Mark is free. Mark Sievers is free. He's the one walking on the beach. He's the one pretending that I'm such a good father, that I'm going to protect these kids. And I'm not saying he's not a good father, because obviously those girls he's a great father. He's a great father. I just think he made a poor choice. Because those girls, you see those smiles, you see the light in their eyes. You remember what that was like being a kid that age. Everything was awesome. It was so simple. It was so much fun. It was so much more simple. And then life gets away from us, and we make choices. I mean, look at your scars. You didn't do that to yourself. These things happen, and I have those too. I have a nice one here, I have the ones here, the elbows, my hips. I'm all jacked up. And the older I get, the more jacked up I get. I get it. Life gets away from us. We want creature comforts, and we need to plan for our life. And then we go, wow, I'm halfway through, I think. My quality of life's not where I want it to be. Here's an opportunity. With that amount of money that he was going to get, if he found a better way to end his life, end his wife's life, it probably would have been really comfort. And knowing the relationship, I think I understand. Or I don't want to insult you. Because I want to say, you know, people say, I know how you feel. That always bothers me when people say, I know how you feel. Because you don't know how I feel. You can maybe imagine how I feel, but you're not inside me. You don't live my life. You don't feel what I feel. So I'm never going to disrespect you like that. What I mean by, I understand, I kind of grasp the relationship of you and Mark's very close. That's cool that, you know, you're 14 years old, right? Or roughly 14 years old. You've known Mark longer now than you were alive before you met him. So it's a special relationship. Plus you care about each other. You love each other. You're brothers. You care each other very much. And it's special. And it means a lot. And that could explain to me why you felt compelled to help Mark. But I need to hear this from you now. This is your opportunity. Because the walls are closing, the wagons have circled. I am taking you to Florida. You're going to be coming with us. Jimmy's coming to Florida. They're going to finish his nonsense with his technical violation of probation. And he's coming down for second degree homicide also, because I know what he did. And I'm pretty sure, I think I got it kind of figured out, that as much as you look like Mark wasn't supposed to be in the neighborhood that weekend. So there's a good chance maybe you were a lookout and Jimmy slipped in ahead of time and was waiting for Teresa. Because you knew how it was going to be. You knew the code to the garage. You knew her timeline because you and Mark negotiated this. You talked about it back in May, and you had a nice plan, and it made sense. And maybe not May, but I know it. Here's what I do know, Wayne. It was planned out, and Teresa's dead. Teresa has two little girls that deserve to have answers and justice. They will never be fulfilled with anything I do. There will always be that empty hole in their heart, which is terrible because they don't know the world yet, but this is their impression of the world. But even then, when they spoke about their mama at that funeral, and the maturity and the specialness and the purity of that age, it shows, like you said, Mark is an excellent father.
Yeah, incredible little girl.
And that's the irony of the situation. In his attempt to protect his relationship with them and not lose them, he ended up losing them, because they're going to find out. They're going to find out what Dad did, and he could try to explain it away and say, well, I got drunk and I talked to Wayne about it, and I think Wayne just took steps on his own because he cares about me, and this is where we're at. He's going to blame you. He's going to blame Jimmy. I don't even know if he knew about Jimmy ahead of time. I think he just asked for your help, and you recruited Jimmy. Either way. Now's the time.
Either way. It's neither way. But
Neither way. Well, what do you think happened then?
Honestly, I don't know what happened. I think, based on everything that I've seen in the news,
what's the news, man?
Oh,
Don't trust the news. The news is silly.
I know.
They're making up stuff.
But it's, the stuff with all these doctors being killed.
We researched them, and that's fabrications. They're not being killed. One killed himself. One was a natural death. Teresa was a murder.
In the chest.
Yeah, well,
with a shotgun.
I know.
And it fell in the river.
I know. No, yeah, I've worked on it before. You know why they do it there? They want to protect their face for the funeral. It's vanity. Or it's just too intimidating to feel the steel against their face. I've worked these before. That's exactly how it went. Either way, we're dealing with this right now. This is not a doctor homicide. Even the most creative screenwriter is not going to pitch the Hollywood motion picture about there's a doctor serial killer out there and it's not you, because I have you there. I have you at the scene. I have you getting supplies for the scene. I have you on tape. I have you with Jimmy. It's a done deal. It's all wrapped up together in a bun. Did you guys do a pretty decent job with the scene? Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. I can tell that you guys thought about this. You talked about it. You're like, this is the best way to do this. This is the best way to do that. We'll make this look like that, and we'll make this look like this, and it's logical. However, next time you're going to simulate something like that, you may want to show that it was stolen. Or it was loaded up, ready to go by the front door or side door, and make it look really good. You were close, but it was so close to being good, but it didn't work out. You do know what I'm talking about, Wayne, and I want this to resonate with you. This is a real thing. This is really happening. You were coming to Florida against your will, or maybe you want the trip. You were going to be tried for second-degree homicide, and I have it all lined up. That's why I just did an arrest warrant. This is me. I was allowed to search the entire U.S. for you. That's what this. That's extradition, and this is your charge, and this is hold no bond to be set by first appearance judge. Curtis Wayne Wright, second-degree murder, punishable by life felony. This is your murder warrant, and this is the extradition. This is a done deal. You are coming with us. So the thing that I want to know from you is how and why, because I know most of the how, but I want to hear it from your perspective. I want to hear, did you go there to maybe talk to her about making the choices she was making because she was about to take the kids away from you and Mark and take them on her little trip across the country as she filmed her new show and packed up the house and packed up the office, and Mark would be left with nothing because he has dedicated himself to being a supportive husband, an excellent father, and he tried to help out with the office manager stuff. He's not so good at keeping up with paperwork, and what I can't get over is I don't think he was appreciated enough, and
obviously always Mark's strong point was
not filing the paperwork.
Money and paperwork.
Maybe the money part, but not the paperwork. You should see the paperwork in his office stacked up. You know what it reminded me of, like when you watch like old Ebenezer Scrooge or something, you see these books and the Spider-Man. It cracked me up. But I will say they were organized piles.
Well, I know that they had just been through like tax stuff going on. So because he had called me multiple times asking me about different things if I knew anything about some of the tax things.
I would call you too, especially with how technically inclined you are.
With the as far as, because they were using QuickBooks, which is one of the programs that I know, and so I mean it doesn't surprise me that there was piles of paper everywhere.
Yeah.
He was going back through like a couple of years worth of stuff to try to get the taxes straightened out.
Yeah, well, obviously they did a good job. They were coming out the right side of it. So you're right. You're right. He's good with money for sure. Let me ask you this: how does it make you feel that he's not in jail yet? Because you and Jimmy are going down for this, and right now it's you and Jimmy, and yeah, you had something to gain by doing it, but you didn't in the beginning. Money is an after thing. Plus, I know you really care about Mark and his happiness, so you did have that to gain. But I mean, if you never knew Teresa, you had nothing to gain by her death, but Mark had everything to gain, and you helped facilitate that.
Well, my understanding of, well, not my understanding. I mean, I know this to be true. Is that practice was just really taken off.
Yes.
Her things with the TV shows.
Oh yeah.
And, so their future was just really launching. So I disagree with you that he had financial motives.
No. You're right.
He was worth a whole lot more alive than dead. So
it was the kid
I don't see
It was the kid issue. He was not going to see those kids as much as he wanted. And maybe it was the perceived issue of loss of
Mark
status.
and I were close, and he never once voiced to me that there was a problem in their relationship. I never seen it. When I was down there, I mean, there were no issues. Like you said, I mean, Teresa was a firecracker. So
she's a bull. She's a bull, man.
But her and Mark somehow balanced each other.
They did,
but I couldn't have been with her. Well, we're not. I don't have with her, but
after living,
but Mark and they made they made it work, and
they did for a while, but
they were happy together as far as I know, and I was never told any different. So
she told her sister Mark was about to hit the road. He knew that though. He knew that. You know that too.
No, I really don't.
You didn't know that she was going to leave him.
No.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Did you directly kill Teresa?
No.
Did you directly have any planning to do with killing Teresa?
No, I didn't.
Did you
I don't even know anything about, you're saying that Mark planned this thing and stuff. I saw him at the wedding. There was nothing said like that. He never even mentioned that they were having problems. And we all went out. You know, we went out the day before. We went out, you know, they come up, we barbecued the night before the wedding. We all went out, and Mark and Jimmy, everybody, we all crashed at my house because, you know, nobody's drinking and driving, and, you know, we spent the day together. It was, you know.
Was Teresa there?
No, she had to work.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
And it's just like when we went to, whenever it was when we did our family vacation, I went down to Titusville and then...
March 2014.
Was that March?
Mm-hmm. The spring break time.
Okay, well, whenever it was, we, because I can't remember, but we went to, it's not Six Flags, what is that there?
In Florida?
Yeah, not Disney. The
Busch Gardens?
Yeah, Busch Gardens. And Mark and the girls came up and we all went. So
was Teresa there?
No, she had to work. I mean, she worked all the time.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Wait. Were you in
Matter of
Florida?
fact, that weekend was, I remember that weekend, the reason we didn't go to his house while we were out there was because I think Teresa's sister was in town. So we didn't go because Teresa had family in. I don't know how many, if it was just her sister or what, but that weekend that we were there, we weren't able to stay at their house because Teresa's family was in town. So,
okay, that makes sense. Where'd you stay at?
Well, we had bounced all over the place on that trip because we went to Busch Gardens one day. Like I said, we were in Titusville. We went to like Cocoa Beach out there one day. We hit like a different beach each day.
Oh
So,
wow,
so
that's
we
really cool.
You know, we did the whole thing. So
sure. Wait, were you in Florida the weekend Teresa Sievers was killed?
No, and
yes, you were.
Okay, we're yeah. This is where I'm not supposed to talk to you anymore. I have an attorney, and I'm not supposed to talk to you. I don't want to.
Well, it's up to you.
I'm trying to.
What do you want to tell me?
I was trying to help you.
Help me.
You know, before with. I don't have anything to give you to help you, but I was trying to help with any information that I had before.
What do you think about Jimmy being charged with murder?
I find that hard to believe, but why?
Help me out with Jimmy then. Let's pretend you have nothing to do with this.
Well, I haven't known Jimmy that long.
How long have you known Jimmy?
I met him in the St. Genevieve County Jail down there. That's where I met him at.
Oh wow. Okay. Just to clarify too,
that was when he got his charges that he's on parole for now. Okay. So that's when I met him. I don't know how long ago that was, but he was in prison. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we hung out or anything.
Right.
We rode back and forth a little bit and things like that. So yeah, like letters. So.
Inside the jail?
No. My charges got dropped and I went home. He was there on federal. Mm-hmm. See, and St. Genevieve is a federal holdover. So they're supposed to stay in federal.
Yeah, mixed up together. Yeah.
So that's how I met him.
Okay.
And so.
What kind of impression did he make on you?
I bragged a lot. He's a kid.
He's a kid.
He was only 20 when.
Oh wow. God, he must have been even
more. I remember on his 21st birthday when we were there, because he was waiting to go, I guess, to the Justice Center or something, in order to get put wherever he was going. He had already been charged, I guess. Sure. And was just waiting for him to place him. And I was waiting.
Let me clarify something with you real quick, because when I pressed the issue with you where you were, and we know where you were, you said I'm not supposed to talk to you, but then you continued to talk to me. Do you feel like I'm forcing you to talk to me right now?
No, not at all.
You understand your
question. You asked me about Jimmy and my impression of Jimmy. Right. And that has nothing directly to do with what we're talking about here. And I'm sure that I'm not supposed to talk to you at all about anything.
Well, sure.
But again, I'm
your choice.
I have nothing to hide, except that obviously you decided that I had something to do with this. So I can't talk to you about it because that's not.
Because what?
Well, because I've been charged for something I didn't do, so this is what lawyers are for, so.
No, I understand all that. I agree. So, well, that and paperwork and stuff like that. But I just want you to understand, because I feel you deserve the opportunity. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is real simple. Any light you shed on this is beneficial, because Teresa Sievers was killed. Teresa Sievers has daughters and that need to have answers when they're adults. Teresa Sievers has family that deserves to know how and why.
Right. It was a tragedy. It's still a tragedy.
It will always be a tragedy, Wayne. And that's what's frustrating about this is, I know what happened, and you don't want to tell your side of the story, and you say you want to help me, you do want to help me, but you don't want to get yourself in trouble because it hurts, and nothing feels good to ever talk about yourself and get yourself in trouble.
No, I didn't say that I didn't want to talk to you because I didn't want to get myself in trouble.
No. You never said that. No. So, I'm speculating. I'm speculating. I'm not. You never said that to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come off like I'm putting words in your mouth. I will never put words in your mouth. I want to hear in your own words why. Because I know how and I know when. And like I said, you're on video. I have you physically tracked there electronically. Unfortunately, Jimmy's not as careful as you are, and I don't know why he
I can't
steps
for Jimmy, but
what would you say for Jimmy?
I don't know, because
do you believe Jimmy's capable of murdering Teresa Sievers?
I don't think so. Everything about Jimmy that I know of Jimmy is just fiddly stuff, kid stuff. I mean, bragging. I know I've heard his story about what happened leading up to what the charges were he got, and and I saw his discovery, so I know what was there, and that was the thing where he was on probation over something that had nothing to do with anything serious. He was driving over 120 miles an hour or something, which apparently is a felony, and he got pulled over and got a ticket for it, and they put him on whatever. Anyway, he got put on probation over it. And then I guess his mom and his dad both passed away when he was younger, which is, I guess, part of why he's the way he is. But
well, he said his father murdered his mom, and they made it look like a suicide. And I said, really? See that tattoo on his chest? He says it's a Chinese number 9. That's how old he was when mom was killed. And he has murder, death, destruction. And he said that's because his mom was murdered. And I said, you commemorated the memory of your mother being murdered when you were 9 years old by getting a Chinese 9 which says murder, death, destruction. And then you said your father did it.
Yeah, I didn't know how much of that story to believe. I did hear that.
How do you feel about Jimmy? Do you care about him?
I like Jimmy. My interaction with Jimmy has been fairly shallow. I mean, we hang out. Not that he's got a girlfriend,
Well, he's got, yeah. Is it his fiance or his girlfriend?
I don't know. It depends on which one you ask, I think.
Yeah. Well said, my friend. Well said. Yeah, exactly. The girls have a tendency of doing that sometimes.
So I don't know. I don't really know Jimmy like that.
Sure. Not like you and Mark are close.
Well,
you have history.
We grew up together. We
that's way different.
We went through high school. We went to 2 different colleges, so we were off and on.
Yeah, well, you were at Ploy, and he was.
Well, he went out. He went to Mizzou, and
sure.
And he got his nursing degree and all of that.
Okay.
So I mean,
he did well, but it's not like what you did. You were probably 50 IQ points above, at least. But Mark Young, he's a smart guy, but you are way smart.
Sharp.
He's sharp. He's sharp, but you're really smart, and you're sharp. You got both.
But yeah, I mean, and then when I was at his wedding, so that we were stayed close up to that point. After he got married, he was in Florida, and
I met her.
So he met her. I think, if I remember right, I think his sister, who was a holistic doctor, introduced him. I think is what happened.
Mark's sister.
Yes. And
gotcha.
She's passed too.
What happened with that? How did that happen? It's so sad.
Let's see. You know what? I'm not sure. I think they said it was an overdose, but Mark and I knew his sister just surfaced. Mark was absolutely sure that she didn't do drug. It was heroin.
Wow.
So he was absolutely sure that she did not use. Her girlfriend did, but she didn't. And then she came up overdosed when they were going to split up or something. So
that's suspect.
Yeah, and that's what it was.
Where did this happen?
A city in Florida down there. I don't know where. I think it was somewhere around St. Pete.
The police ever interviewed the girlfriend?
You know, I don't know.
Wow.
I wasn't really around.
A long time ago?
That. I heard, you know, it was since they've been married. So.
Okay.
So, you know, and I talked to him. I wasn't there for the funeral or anything, but I remember when it happened, and I remember calling him and, you know, and telling him, you know, I was sorry to hear. But for that, I don't know why. How long were her and Mark married? 10 years?
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was 12.
It may have been. But let's see. We've been wow. Mark and I kind of. We didn't disassociate at all, but we stopped talking on a regular basis.
A little bit?
Yeah. So
but you were still
once a
friends.
month we would still talk. Anytime there was holidays or birthdays and things like that. Mark was one of those people that could remember like days that two people met, you know, and anniversaries. And
that's crazy how sharp.
I mean, it's like I can't even remember my own birthday. But he couldn't remember that stuff.
That's a program and stuff.
You know, and
yeah, but you have that. You're different though because you have that extremely intricate coding, technical know-how that people. That's like another language. You're like multilingual. That's a gift. So it's the trade-off.
The gift, yes.
The trade-off.
Unfortunately, that gift was fairly lost from the accident, but
really,
along with I mean, I couldn't program now. I'm sure that I could write simple things, but for the development stuff that I was doing, there's no possible way. That's the reason that
was from the car crash, right?
Yeah, and
even
prior to the car crash,
I was
having the problems with, you know, it was a misdiagnosis. I know that because I've met people that have it, and our symptoms are there's some similarities, but there are some things that really just aren't.
I want to show you a picture. Okay. And I hope this makes this more real for you, okay? Just to switch subjects a little bit here. You see that? See who that is? That's you. You know who that is?
Can't tell who either is.
Oh, come on. Let me make it bigger for you. There we go. That's you. Right?
Doesn't look like me to me, but...
You're going to say that's not you?
Yeah, I'm going to say that doesn't look like me. I mean, if the other one's so blurry, I can't tell who it is.
When's the last time you had your eyes checked, man? Are you near or farsighted?
I have astigmatism.
Okay, well. Yeah, those are a little dirty.
Probably isn't.
No. Use your shorts.
Work.
Alright. Reconfirming. That weekend we talked about, has your story changed since the last time? That Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you were in Missouri and not in Florida, correct?
Right.
And why were you in Missouri and not Florida?
Well, because I decided not to go. But my Florida trip wasn't to that side of Florida anyway. But I didn't go because, you know, when I'm hurting, my shoulders hurt. I can't keep my hands on the steering wheel. You know, I get dizzy.
You're just sick. You don't feel good.
But it's not. I know that's confusing because I call it sick.
It's not. I know exactly what you mean by sick.
I don't mean like
my friend had a rheumatoid arthritis.
It's
very similar. The inflammation. I know exactly what you're going through. I have not felt it, but I know what's been described to me. It's ridiculous.
Yes, it's very painful, and
let me show you again. Okay. Here's one of 3 different videos, not shots. This is one place. This is one of 3 different locations where I had you with Jimmy in Florida. That's actually the day you guys killed Teresa. That's the Sunday when she flew into town. mean, it was close to midnight, so I don't know if you waited till late Sunday night right before midnight, or if you did it early Monday morning right after midnight, but that's the day you guys killed her, and that's real close to her house. So, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I want to hear why. I want to hear why, because honestly, from everything, you're intelligent, you're sophisticated, you have all kinds of potential. I want to hear why. And I know Mark's behind it, because you had no motivation, and tell me if I'm wrong, to do anything to Teresa. I want to know why.
No, I like Teresa. I mean, she was helping me, so
yeah, well,
I have no reason to have wanted to hurt her. So,
Then tell me why.
But I was not there. I see that you think that that's me on that video, but that's not me. I was in Missouri. So, what Jimmy did or didn't do, I can't speak for him.
We know what Jimmy did. That's why he called himself a hammer. Jimmy the Hammer, right?
Well, no, that's not. The reason that he told me that they called him that was because he's apparently built really well, and that's what he's talking about when he says the hammer.
Like he's
hung like a.
Oh, like he's got a big.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's not shy about it, and
I know you know.
Well, the only reason I know is because he tends to pull it out in public, and
I don't have a problem with
people around. So
this is the 2000s, man. There's no judgment here at all. I don't have a problem.
Oh, no. I see where you're going with that. No.
No?
That is not.
Has Jimmy ever made a pass at you?
No.
Why not?
Why would he? I'm not gay.
The detective presses on the relationship with the co-conspirator, Jimmy, and Wayne offers a bizarre piece of trivia. The detective laughs. Psychologically, this is a fascinating moment of deflection. Faced with questions about a brutal murder, Wayne retreats into a story of juvenile, grotesque humor. It serves two purposes. It humanizes the conversation, creating a false sense of camaraderie between the two men, and it lowers Wayne's own anxiety. By talking about something so absurdly unrelated, he creates mental distance from the weight of the murder investigation happening just minutes before. It's a nervous system regulating itself through a very strange joke.
I didn't say you're gay. That doesn't make you gay. It's just activity.
Okay. It does.
What's wrong with that? Just because you want to have a little fun doesn't mean there's something wrong with it.
Well, it's wrong to me.
Why?
So everybody each of their own, but it's not my thing.
Okay.
It's wrong to me.
Okay. I'm not trying to be offensive.
Okay.
I don't want to offend you.
Yeah.
So Jimmy's never made a pass at you?
No.
Alright. He pulls his penis out a lot. Why?
Because he likes to chase girls around with it, because I think he's honestly, I think he's insecure.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's why he talks so much.
Issues.
That's why he talks so much.
And, from, like his girlfriend, because he talks about his penis nonstop, and
what does she say about all this?
Well, she agrees with him, so.
It's like, what does she say?
I've never seen it hard, so all I see is when he's twirling it around and it's in bars chasing girls around with it. I mean, the guy has no boundaries at all.
And you ever got beaten up for that? No guys beat him up?
No.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy. He in the bar? What bar were you guys at? It's crazy.
I don't know.
That's so silly. Wow.
He did it at the house one night when some of Andy's friends are over. He's always trying to pull it out in front of Angie. He'll like pull it out and he'll say, "Turn around," and she's like, "I'm not looking." He does it in a way, and he does it so much that it's really not. I don't know. It's almost it's hard to take him serious, because of his personality. Sure. He is. So it's hard to be mad at him because he does it.
You're being not like crazy.
He doesn't do anything that he wouldn't do in front of you.
Oh yeah.
So it's like so you're hitting on my wife all the time. You hit on everybody all the time.
Right.
You could probably be hitting on her
too.
So it's but that's just Jimmy. So
Do you guys have an open relationship? You and Angie?
No.
No,
she's stingy.
she's what she's stingy?
I tease her about that. I call her stingy. But no, we don't. We're married, and and it's,
well, like I said, it's the 2000s. Everybody's got different concepts.
And I have friends that are, and
sure,
and some are open about it, some aren't.
Well, yeah,
and and it's, it's none of my business. It doesn't affect me. It's,
right. And no one's getting hurt. Blah blah blah. Right. I was led to believe that. You guys were more open, and that if you guys are drinking and having a good time, sometimes things happen. But again, like, I don't think that makes anyone gay. I just think that means you're having a good time. So.
Who? Me and Jimmy and the girls? Or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
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 No threesomes?
No.
No foursomes?
No.
All right. All right. Well.
Yeah, no. I don't know who told you that, but that's...
So, if I showed you a video, again, of you and Jimmy, because that's you and Jimmy, you know it is. I know you were there, you know you were there. If I show you a video, which I know you would find hard to believe, if you, that night, in Mark's street, going towards the house, what would you say to that?
I would say that that's not possible.
Why would you say it's not possible?
Because I wasn't there.
Okay. What would you say if Jimmy was there? How would you think Jimmy got down to Florida?
I couldn't answer that in any way.
What would you say when Jimmy pretty much says...
Jimmy has a new car, so, I mean, I would think if Jimmy was going to Florida, he'd drive his car. So...
Well, he didn't need to. You rented a car.
I rented a car because my car was in the shop.
I know, and then the amount of use you put on it showed you in Florida, just so you know that. And unfortunately, some rental cars today, because of theft, they have GPS.
I know.
Okay, and you think you have checked... Let me tell you something, too. They're not always where you can see it. Sometimes they put a little sticker that says, anti-theft device equipped, blah, blah, blah. Other times it's not.
Yeah, I didn't check it.
Well, what do you think about you being in Florida?
I was not in Florida, so a GPS can't put me in Florida. I wasn't there.
It actually can. It can, and it did, and I'll show it in court, and you'll see it then. I just want to know why. I know the house, most of the house. I mean, more of the house stuff and the intricate details would be fun to hear from you because you were intimately part of it. But the biggest thing is the why. And I don't know if you don't want to say it because you don't want to put a trademark, but I want you to understand something. There's a big press release right now about you, about Jimmy. If Mark has any common sense, real simply, he's going to have to find a reason. He's going to have to come up with something. It's so simple that he looks so guilty. So, I'm providing you an opportunity to tell your side of the story. This is an awesome opportunity. This means a lot. This is a special moment in time right now. It's preserved for you and me. No one else is here. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I don't think it's not crazy.
Gay? You got me on that one.
Well, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Unfortunately, you're not right.
Oh, Wayne, I wish I wasn't right. I wish Teresa was alive and being herself with her kids and Mark and things were different. But it is what it is, man. I've been living, eating, breathing this case since June 29th when she passed and we discovered her. And through the process of all of this, I was able to finally put it all together. And it was like this big puzzle, and I'd get a little piece and a little piece here, put it there, and start looking at this angle, went like that, flipped it upside down. I'm like, oh my God, Jimmy was with Wayne. All this time I thought it was maybe just Wayne helping Mark out. I'm like, oh my God, they're together on this. This is crazy. Which is dangerous because the best way for two people to keep a secret is for one to kill the other. It always comes out. It's going to come out. I know it sounds crazy, but Jimmy's young. Jimmy has a baby on the way. Jimmy's going to spill his beans if he has any common sense. He has youth on his side. Jimmy loves to talk. He's always running his damn mouth anyway. So Jimmy's going to spill it. It's a countdown. And unfortunately, you're not going to get to be able to reach out to him. You're going to be able to write letters to Jimmy. That's not going to happen. So once Jimmy does, Jimmy's going to be the one in the lead. And it's a race right now. Right now, Jimmy's in the lead. You're right here. You're close. And Mark's in the pack right here. Mark's going to get run over because the last one, the lion gets him first. And this time, you both got picked up first. But when I mean the lion, I'm talking about the law. The long arm of the law is going to reach out and pick him up and go, Jimmy talks, Jimmy wins, and then you'll be tried separately, and we'll be able to introduce all the different things, and it'll overlap. And maybe by that time, hopefully by that time, you'll do something to shed light on the situation to provide an opportunity to tell your side of the story. Because the truth may not set you free, but the truth is the truth. And unfortunately, you're involved in something that's been found out. We don't randomly arrest people. I know I don't anyway. I can't just say, hey you, I need this case closed, come with me. I know what you did. I know how you did it. I wanted to know why. And that's how we got this, because they will say who and how and when, but why You know, that comes out sometimes. Other times, why never comes out. That's what makes those police shows and those movies interesting, because they'll go into the mind of someone and they'll go, we don't know. We don't know. And it would be up to the person who did it to say, here's why. Because I could. Because it needed to be done. Because it was the right thing to do. Because I was attacked. Because I was defending myself. Who knows? That's the why. Why is really interesting to get? That's the stuff books are made out of too. I mean, that's really interesting. However, this is the time to hear why. Jimmy's going to roll, and then it'll just be the mountain falling on top of you because you're the recruiter. And it's disgusting because Mark set this in motion, but you recruited Jimmy, and Jimmy will be like, yeah, I may have killed her, but I was asked to do it, and it was $10,000, so it is what it is, man. I'm tired of living in that trailer. I needed that 3-bedroom house. I'm sick of it. I've been robbed too many times by these freaking meth heads in my neighborhood. I had a baby on the way. I did what I had to do. No one gave me anything. My mom was killed. My father did it. I killed him. This is no big deal for me, and this is how it is. I'm Jimmy. Jimmy can't trouble work and run his damn mouth all the time. That's Jimmy. So let me tell you something right now. You're putting your hands, your fate, in Jimmy's hands. So, if that's what you want to go with, that's fine. Because when Jimmy shows us step-by-step all the different gas stations you went to, how he did some of the driving, and you did some of the driving, and you worked it out, and you took a little break at the rest stop, and you went here and you got some cleanup supplies to bag up things, and it all comes out, like who brought what, where, and when, and how, and the outfit they wore gets put here, and this got there, and this is there, and it all comes together, and I get to go Exhibit A through Z in court. Here's the OR, and I'll have the pictures. These huge poster boards going to be up, and the jury's going to be like, oh my God, oh, it's terrible. This mother, this doctor, these children, they're alone now. The father literally took himself out of it too. That's why I said that was the irony. Mark literally wanted to keep them so much that he got blinded and he got tunnel vision and forgot by doing this. He literally took himself out of their life, or reduced the quality and the amount of the consistent time he'll get, because it'll be supervised visits. It'll be reduced severely. But unfortunately, that's his problem. Your problem is that you were hired to do a job, or you were asked to do something for a friend that you care about and love very much, and then you brought in this other guy. So that's how it is. I know that's how it is. You know that's how it is. So now is the time to tell me why.
You're completely off base with what you're saying. That's not what happened.
What happened?
No, I'm not saying that I know what happened. I'm saying that didn't happen. What you're saying happened did not happen.
What happened?
I have no idea. But I didn't have anything to do with this. And
did Mark?
To my knowledge, Mark would have not. I can't see Mark having anything to do with it either. I mean, why? It doesn't make any sense to me. You're telling me that they were having marital problems. I was close, and I never saw that. He never talked to me about that. I just can't make myself accept that was really the way the relationship was based on what I saw. Like I said, Jimmy, I don't know. I don't know what Jimmy was doing that weekend. I didn't ask him. Sometimes I go weeks without talking to Jimmy. Sometimes, we'll talk a couple times a day. He works all the time, and I had a brief conversation with him. I don't even know how many days ago it was, but I think it was probably the end of last week. Was it? Yeah, it probably was. About getting, I guess he had a night off or something. He wanted to get together, and I wasn't feeling like doing anything, so I called him and told him that I wasn't going to be able to get together, that I wouldn't be able to get together with him. So I don't know what they ended up doing. I haven't talked to him since. But
did you talk to Jimmy on Saturday, June 27th, in the morning time?
I couldn't. I can't.
That weekend that you were supposed to go to Florida and stay home because you were sick, did you talk to Jimmy at all?
Over the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. And it wouldn't surprise me if I talked to him.
When you were supposed to go to Florida, were you going alone?
Well, originally, Jerry and I were going to go. Jerry Levinsky, yeah. Because we had been planning a trip down there for the antique stuff.
Right.
With that. Actually, he just got back this week from going on a trip that we were going to go.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So, I ended up obviously not going with him. But You know, so I don't, you know, I don't drive much anyway. I always have a problem with driving. You know, even going to my parents' house, which was 7.5 hours away, was usually a 2-day trip for me. When I'm not hurting, just because I've fallen asleep, I couldn't tell you how many accidents I've had falling asleep driving. You know,
Were you supposed to go with anyone but your...
At one point, they were even going to take my driver's license away because, you know, because I have seizures and all kinds of things. So, no, I never made any arrangements to go anywhere with anybody else. So,
Okay, so if you were talking to him that morning and he's asking you what time are you coming to pick him up and you tell him 7 a.m., that doesn't sound right to you?
Well, Saturday morning. You know what, I don't remember what was going on.
Did you go to Jimmy's house that weekend?
I don't know.
I thought you said you stayed home all weekend.
I didn't say I stayed home all weekend. I said I didn't go anywhere. I didn't, okay, I see where you're saying. That could be confusing. No, I still went places. I just didn't go very far. I stuck around. Plus, I worked on his truck. I did.
Not that weekend.
No,
I have the videotape. No, you didn't.
Okay, you have a video. You may not have a video of me working on it. That doesn't mean I didn't.
You are lying about that. You were not in that building. I have the camera angles. You're lying to me right now, and that's okay. We can get past the lie, but we're going to accept that you're lying to me about it.
Well, that doesn't mean you're working on the truck. I had the truck at my house.
No,
I did.
No, it's on camera in there. It didn't run. Plus, you told me about how difficult it was with the tools to get underneath the seat. We had this conversation.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me about
I drove it around. You're going to find out that there's all kinds of witnesses that had. I was driving that around that weekend.
You know what means an eyewitness? Videotape of it. It didn't move. The truck was in the whole time.
So, well, that's not the case.
It's okay that you lied to me, but what we're going to do is we're going to move past the lie, and you can just tell me the truth.
Well, that's not a lie. I mean,
what is it?
Well, it's obviously something. There's something besides a lie, because I had the truck. And I have proof I had the truck. So
where?
If the date was off on the DVR and
no, we verified the date timestamp. It was good. Right. Accurate date timestamp.
You know, I don't know. The electric was off in the unit.
No. There was no interruptions. It worked. It functioned. It worked. I verified all that. I have it secured. It's in my evidence vault in Lee County. It's locked down tight. We have it on lock.
Okay.
Wayne has insisted he stayed home in Missouri working on a truck. The detective reveals he has video surveillance proving the truck never moved and that Wayne was not in the garage. Watch the psychological response. This is the sound of an alibi shattering in real time. Wayne is trapped between the reality of the digital evidence and the narrative he needs to maintain. He cannot admit the evidence is true without admitting he is a liar and, by extension, a killer. Instead, he enters a state of cognitive dissonance, arguing that reality itself must be wrong. It is a desperate, instinctive defense mechanism of a mind under siege.
So I can't. I forgive you. Have no explanation for why you think that I didn't work on it.
I forgive you for lying. You did work on it on Wednesday, and you worked on it on Thursday. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you were in Florida. You did not work on that truck, and that's okay. Like I said. Here's your past. Here's your forgiveness. I understand you attend church, Christian men, confession, things of that nature, so be it. I accept that you lied to me. I'm not going to take it personally, and I understand why. This is a very uncomfortable situation. However, it is what it is. We're going to move past it. Tell me what happened and why.
I can't tell you what happened because I don't know. And as to why, I don't know because I don't know who did it. I can't even speculate to why they did it. So
I'm going to ask you some direct questions.
Okay.
Did Mark Sievers talk to you about doing anything to his wife?
No.
Did Mark Sievers hire you to kill his wife?
No.
Did anyone hire you to kill Mark Sievers' wife?
No.
Did anyone hire you to kill Teresa Sievers?
No. Why? You're asking me the same question.
Because you just showed me that you were doing word game with me. So around town or at my house, at
home. That's not a word game.
Okay, then you and I misunderstood each other. You and I misunderstood each other then. So I want to make sure I understand very clear. Were you ever in Florida that weekend?
No.
The weekend of June 26th through June 29th? Yes or no?
If that was the weekend that...
Okay. You want me to show you a calendar?
No, oh yeah. Well, showing me a calendar is not going to do me good. All I'm asking is that the weekend that she was killed?
Yes.
Then the answer is no.
Okay.
So.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. I love that you're locking yourself into staying in Missouri when I have you not in Missouri. I have you in Florida. So if you want to lie like that, that's okay. Because all it does is further put you in a bad light. And I don't think you're a bad person. I think you made a bad choice. And now it's the time to rectify the bad choice. Come to Jesus, let it all out. Whatever you want to call it. Now's the time to let it out and say why. Because it is what it is. Like I said, I hate to repeat that phrase, but we know what we know. You know what you know. I know you're going to tell me something different. This is very uncomfortable, and that's okay. We're doing it together. But I need to know what happened and why. Did Jimmy Rogers ever say to you he was going to Florida to kill Teresa Sievers?
No.
Has Jimmy Rogers ever told you that he wanted to kill Teresa Sievers?
No. I don't believe that I've ever had a conversation with Jimmy about Teresa.
Have you ever had a conversation with Jimmy Rogers?
We're all together on my wedding. And even then, I don't think that anybody talked about Teresa other than that we wish she could have been there. So,
would it surprise you to hear that Jimmy Rogers killed Teresa?
That doesn't seem like that's his nature to me. So yes, I would be surprised if he was. It wouldn't be that if he killed her; it would be if he killed anybody.
Did Jimmy tell you that he killed her?
No.
What do you think should happen to somebody who killed Teresa Sievers?
Well, I don't know. I guess it would depend on what happened, but no matter whatever happened, she got killed. So, I mean, they should be punished. But I don't know. It's the stuff that I saw. I know you have a reason, or I don't know, an excuse for everything that happened to disprove it. But when I was at the house, they were going to have me replace the door while I was down there. That door was busted into. I don't believe that somebody that she knew, or somebody that had a code or whatever, would have had to break in the door. I believe that I believe either it was something to do with her work, one of her patients, somebody's father that she was helping turn his son from a boy to a girl, or whatever. I saw the, which is, by the way, is something I didn't have any clue that was a big part of the business at all. I never dealt with any of the patient side of it, and I was strictly from the technical side of it. That was something she was well known for, was the working with the not cross-gender, but transgender population and stuff. I never knew that. I would think that when they had that show on just a week or two before that happened, where they were interviewing her or something, where my parents told me they saw it, and somebody else did too, where she was with the mother of like an 8-year-old boy that she was helping change to a girl. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, if that was my kid, that would piss me off. I mean, not that I would go kill somebody, but I could see, that type of work putting somebody in a lot of, right in the target of a lot of people. I don't know. Would that happen? I have no idea.
Have you ever killed anyone?
No.
Would you ever kill anyone?
I would protect my family.
Okay, what if Mark is your family and you think you're protecting him?
Well, Mark's not my family. And
When you close like family?
Mark can take care of himself.
Did you kill Teresa to protect Mark?
No.
Why not?
Why would I? I don't think he needed to be protected. And even if he did, again, he's not my family. I'm talking about protecting my wife and my kids, okay? From somebody that breaks in the house and is trying to, not physical things to me don't really matter that much, but not necessarily trying to rob, but that I feel like it's threatening, our lives, or is going to, hurt my kids, or, something like that. So, I believe that, it's our right to protect. Not just our right as men, it's our duty to protect our families from harm.
Well, that's what I think you thought this was. I think this was a call of duty.
No, it's not my family. Mm-hmm. And like I said, Mark never once said anything to me about even that they were having problems. Not to mention that he never said anything to me about them being in any kind of him hurting him or him feeling like his family was being threatened. So no, I don't. And no, I wouldn't. It's like I said, that's Mark's job.
Do you think the killing of Teresa Sievers is wrong?
Well, I think the killing of anybody is wrong.
Let's just talk about Teresa Sievers for a minute.
Okay.
Do you think the killing of Teresa Sievers is wrong?
I just said that I think anybody being killed is wrong.
Let's put anybody away. Let's just talk about Teresa only. Do you think the killing of Teresa Sievers is wrong?
Yes, I do. But
why do you think it's wrong?
Because she obviously wasn't threatening somebody or getting ready to hurt somebody that they, it would be a self-defense thing. It would be the only way that would happen. So,
when you say that would be the only way it would happen, you mean that would be the only way it would be right?
No, not that it would be right. I can't judge right or wrong for somebody else. So no, I have no idea. I mean, I think that asking that question is, it's not even a real question. It's just part of the question. So
what's the right question to ask?
I don't know. I don't know what the right question is. Do I think that if she was about to pull the trigger and kill my kid, do I think it would be right to shoot her? Yeah. I mean, if I'm protecting my family,
sure.
Well,
let me ask you this. Was Teresa about to do something that you needed to protect your family for? Is that why you killed her?
No.
Is that why you helped Jimmy kill her?
I did not help Jimmy kill her.
Is that why you helped Mark kill her?
I did not help Mark kill his wife.
Did you help anybody kill Teresa?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Let me ask you this. What's that line about? Were you in Florida that weekend?
No.
No, okay. And that's why we're telling lies right now.
Well,
and listen, you look at me. You're a good person, and I'm not judging you for this at all. You made a choice. It became what it became, and that doesn't change who you are. Do you lead a secret life?
No.
You don't have any other stuff that you don't tell people about that maybe do, whether it's sexually or anything else?
I'm an open book. Anybody that knows me knows.
Well, the people that know you, yes, you're open to them. But to me, I'm a stranger. We're starting to get to know each other more. We spent probably, one-on-one, we spent like 5 to 6 hours now together. But I'm not, this is a judgment-free zone. Not that that means anything to you. I'm not your therapist. But listen, whether you lead a secret life and there's a little bit of sexual activity with people that are into it and people are having a good time, you're in the moment, and that's fine. There's no judgment about that. But what I can tell you is lying about it seems pointless to me.
I am married.
Before you were married?
Before I was married, well, I've never been with a guy. Okay.
Never.
Before.
What do you call being with a guy? What do you consider being with a guy?
Anything.
Any kind of physical touching being with a guy?
Yeah.
How about
I believe in that 3-inch rule.
And what's 3-inch rule? What's that mean?
You can't get 3 inches from it.
So as long as that's a good joke. 3 inches.
There was a joke in.
All right. Well, no, but listen. Like I said, this is judgment free.
Something.
Scout camp. Okay.
Because we all just believe in the same.
Same sense. Yeah, that's a 3-inch rule. That's funny. No, that's the thing, man. It's like it happens. These things happen, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and
What?
I can't even imagine
what
kissing another guy. You asked me.
You never kissed a guy?
No.
You ever had a guy kiss you?
Well, not in the way that you're talking about.
What kind of way?
Well, in some kind of a sexual way.
What ways have you been kissed by a man?
Well, by my dad, and my son.
You get along with your dad?
Me? Yeah.
You like him?
We're too much alike, but yeah. So
your mom seems really nice.
She is.
She's a sweetheart. Oh my gosh, she's a very strong woman.
Dad's a little antisocial, but
yeah, that's his dad's way. And Robert's really nice too.
No,
he's nice as heck. I thought he was very warm and friendly.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Well, no, he is, but he's. I don't know. He's
what? What about Robert? What?
He's very guarded. I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he was nice. He was at home.
No, that's why
he was at his house. That's probably why he was nice. So we're all guarded to a degree.
I mean, they gave me 2 beautiful grandchildren that I adore. And
kids are so special, man. And, what are you going to do when Mark says that you killed Teresa and he told you not to? What are you going to do when that happens?
I will never have to face that question because that's not going to happen. He knows it doesn't want to happen.
What do you know has happened then?
Well, I have no idea what he knows, but he knows that I didn't do anything.
How do you know that he knows that?
Because I didn't. Why would he think that I did it?
Because you did.
I did not.
Oh my gosh. Wayne, I'm telling you, brother, this is a judgment-free zone. I know what you did, man. Listen, what about Jimmy? What are you going to do when Jimmy says, hell yeah, I got recruited. I needed the money. What are you going to do then?
I don't believe believe that would happen either.
Why?
Because it didn't happen.
What did you say to Jimmy then?
I didn't say anything to Jimmy. I told you, Jimmy and I don't talk. Mark, my relationship with Mark is totally different. It's become more of a business relationship. I mean, we are friends above all, above everything. But our daily conversations are more business than anything. Somewhere in there they'll be tied in, house, family, whatever. But when I get the phone calls, it's not to say hello. Those that happen like in the evenings or things like that sometimes. But during the day when I get a call, it's because of something wrong at the office, and he needs me to tell him what to try.
Wait, what do you need to hear that's going to make you realize now's the time to tell the truth? Are you ever going to tell the truth?
I've already told the truth.
And you're telling me the truth is, I'm going to rebrief what you told me. You're telling me the truth is, you were in Missouri, you did not go to Florida the weekend Teresa Sievers was killed, you went there after she was killed.
Yeah, we got the phone call the day after. That's what
Were you in Lee County the day of Teresa's death?
No, you keep asking me the same questions over and over.
I got to ask you different ways to make sure there's no confusion here. Were you in Florida at all the day Teresa was killed?
No, and
the day after Teresa was killed.
You don't want to know. You're not interested in my answer.
Oh, you're keep asking. I am interested. You know why I'm interested in it? I'll tell you why I'm interested. I am. Look at me. I'm interested in everything that comes out of your mouth.
I let you engage me in a conversation that...
I love what's coming out of it because one, you have a funny sense of humor. Two, you're witty. Three, I love when you tell me things because it locks you into one story that you're in Missouri.
The truth, yes.
One story. It's not the truth. One story. You're close enough. You're so close, man. Because you give me these dark glimpses where the truth starts to come out and you look at me and I know you just want to either punch me out or tell me this. I see the look where you're like, you son of a gun. You got me.
Well,
listen.
No, that's not, that look is not you got me. That's...
Frustration?
I can get frustrated. Yeah,
Yeah, but you get dark. I see the dark.
So.
It gets dark and I get why. And listen. I want to lock you into the truth. Now, right now, you won't give me the truth, so I'm locking you into a story. And the story is, you are in Missouri, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Teresa is found. You say then you drove down the following day when you heard from Scott Sievers about Mark Sievers' wife Teresa being killed. You did hear from Scott.
Yeah.
Scott told you.
Yeah.
That's 100% true. That is a fact. That is completely confirmed. And the same techniques used to confirm that truth have been applied to your timeline before that, leading up to it. And these techniques have revealed that not only were you in Florida, that you were in Lee County, and not only were you in Lee County, you were in Bonita Springs where the Sievers live, and not only were you in Bonita Springs where the Sievers live, you were literally less than 5 minutes from their house at one point, and then not only that, you were on their street. So all of these things come together, and that's just one little facet of these facts. And the good part is, you're locking yourself into a lie. I have the truth. I show that in court, and that's what helps me get a conviction. That's how this works. Now, what can sometimes be beneficial to everyone is, here's why I did what I did, and I'm sorry for it, or I was defending myself, or I was under duress, being forced to do something. The truth, or versions of the truth, but the truth will always be what it is. There's versions, and that's what I'm going to get. I'll get the version from Jimmy, I get the version from you, I'll get the version from Mark, because eventually his lawyer's going to go, you're wasting time, you're going to get something. You better tell the truth, because you have two little girls that need a father, so you better be around. And Mark's going to go, I've never been to prison, I've never been to jail. Wayne's badass. Jimmy is a young badass or aspiring badass. That is not me. I am not that guy. Can I get by? Sure, but that's not who I am. And I can't do this, so I'm going to have to tell the truth. I'm going to have to find a version of the truth where it puts me in the best light possible, and I'll try and do what I can do for Wayne. However, Jimmy I'll throw under the bus now that I know about him. Maybe I didn't know about him before. Whatever the case is, that's how it's going to go down. That's what will happen. The likelihood of everyone going, thick as thieves, brother, don't say anything, we'll be okay, as Mark loves to do this, where he's working through his negative energy and channeling his stress. He's not going to be thick as thieves. He's going to go, I like going to the movies, and I like walking on the beach, and I like going to upscale malls and hanging out with my kids and just making projects. He's not going to want to go to prison and make papier-mâché masks with the guy down in the jail cell that wants to beat up Mark, because Mark has had a life that he never got afforded. Mark will crumble. And definitely Jimmy will, because he's the youngest out of all three of you, and he's got a baby on the way. He's taken on little baby Luke as a responsibility. He's taken on little baby Heavenly. She's 2-year-old. She cracks me up. She's adorable. She's so full of piss and vinegar. He's going to want to buy into that and say, my dad ruined my life. My mom got killed. I'm going to be a good dad. I'm going to be a good husband. I'm getting at this. I'm going to pull my parachute. I love you, Wayne, but we don't really know each other that long. We had a really good time. So be it. Good time on the beach. Good time this. Good time that. But I'm going to go on with my life. Plus, I don't want to die. I don't want to die in prison. He's going to turn. And then you will be forced to keep saying, I was in Missouri as we show. I'm trying not to laugh because it's crazy to me. All the GPS locations and the videos and the physical evidence that we thought was good and was not in the house, but you wouldn't believe the technology we have now, like as well as trying to audit and augment GPSs, for example, and how you can sift through metadata and you can find deleted items. The technology and the coding, you're right, it's crazy. It's very impressive where they are right now. So we get to put all this extra work in, and that's fine. I get paid to do that. I get paid by the hour. So it is what it is. And we'll never know the why. I can project my ideas, and I already projected all my ideas. I came up with most of my ideas. I'll try to think of more when I'm laying down in bed tonight. But we know what happened. It's just why. Are you going to tell me why?
I can't tell you anything because what you think happened didn't happen. So. Okay. Can
I take a break for a minute? Do you need to use the bathroom? Can I get you water?
I do need to use the bathroom.
Sorry, can you use the bathroom first? I'll come get you? Sure. All right, thank you for your patience. I'll be right back. I don't know if you want to look at this. I'll be right back. Just a second, okay?
Curtis Wayne Wright Jr. pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in February 2016 and was subsequently sentenced in February 2020 to 25 years in prison as part of a plea agreement requiring his testimony against his co-defendants. Mark Sievers was found guilty by a jury of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder and subsequently sentenced to death for the murder conviction plus a consecutive 30 years for the conspiracy conviction.